Michelin restaurants have got three things. One, pretentious wine wankers. Because Steph and I are functioning borderline alcoholics, we got the 6-course tasting wine pairing. Guilty. Two, people pretending they got more money than they do. Guilty. And good food. Sometimes you want a dish to get up and slap you across the face with its ingredients, sit back down and excuse itself. We're well equipped to give you our thoughts on MOS in Amsterdam. When people think of Michelin, what do they think of? They think of overpriced food and they think of nice silverware. But we're not kings and queens. We couldn't give a fuck about silverware. We're there for the food and the wine. Whilst it might not look like it, Steph and I have been to quite a few Michelin restaurants, so we are somewhat of an authority on this subject. So you better listen up and look sharp, buddy, because we got some facts coming up.
MOS is perfectly located, very, very close to Central Station. Walking distance, which is a pro, because we could take a tram and get really, really drunk.
First impressions, there was an enormous glass roof that caverned over the entrance to this place. Very intimidating, or maybe it was an exciting view of things to come as you walk past your reflection, looking up to the skies, seeing it, looking back down on yourself. You entered the main doors. They were understated, they were discreet, and you were greeted with one of the most beautiful views of the harbour you could imagine, viewable from every seat in the restaurant. They obviously prioritised viewing outside to take in those harbour views.
We were welcomed by the staff at the entrance and they guided us to the table. MOS is located next to a harbour and across or next to the Eye River, so beautiful views guaranteed. It was a little bit distracting at times where boats would come by and we were having our meals because we could not resist looking outside. The place itself has 3 floors. I think downstairs relatively small, 1 large table, a couple of smaller tables around it. Massive bar, again, beautiful views around it. It looks very modern and the kitchen is on the floor where we sat, and it was great to see a little sneak peek of all the activities that happened in the kitchen.
We were predominantly served by 2 young Dutch guys who were very polite. They came to the table at the start and said, would you like to be spoken to in English or Dutch? Now my Dutch is not that great, so we decided to get both, so they would introduce every wine pairing and dish in Dutch and then English, which was super lovely. Not too much interaction on a personal level, but it was a really nice experience all round with the waiters. After being seated, we were presented with the amuse bouche, which was a kohlrabi stuffed with green hummus and a lime gel. It was very, very simple and understated. Next to that was eggplant served with a berry crumble, which was also served cold. These were a great appetizer and a good way to set the mood for the night.
As Tom and I find a Michelin dinner always very special, we kicked off with a glass of champagne. After that, we were presented with the menus. Of course, making the reservation, I always leave a note to say that there's going to be 1 vegan. They presented me the vegan menu and Tom the normal menu. And then we still had to decide whether we did a 5 or a 6-course menu. And of course, we went all in with 6 courses.
Because Steph and I are functioning borderline alcoholics, we got the 6-course tasting wine pairing. The wines were well matched. The reds were a bit weaker than the whites. The whites were more enjoyable. I think that was because the strongness of the dishes didn't match red wine so much, but a really nice wine pairing all round. Now we could sit here and give you a blow by blow of every single dish, which would bore you to death, and Alexander the guest does it way better. But what I can tell you is some of the dishes were so good, it felt like I'd been punched in the dick. The standout was the skate wing fillet, which is a fish dish which would never normally be my favourite. It was done with tamarind, yellow curry, thick, rich coconut sauce, and it was unbelievably easily the standout of the entire dinner.
My highlight was a super smoky dish and it was so good. I will think about it for a long time, I think. It was carrot spaghetti in a cantarell sauce and a mushroom foam with dried mushrooms as well. But just so rich and so good.
When you go to a Michelin restaurant, sometimes you want a dish to get up and slap you across the face with its ingredients, sit back down and excuse itself. And that's exactly what the duck dish did. This was rich, intense, beautifully well-rounded, the sort of thing you want to walk away and tell your friends about after dinner. Confusingly, the meal wasn't rounded off with petit fours. So it was more of a petty fork out of here, we're done with you. That was a bit confusing to us. We didn't know whether we should ask for the bill or the petty fours were still on their way. Apart from that, lovely, well-rounded meal with a bunch of good family and friends celebrating a really nice occasion. If you're in town, give it a shot. Don't, whatever, we don't care. We've brought it to you. It's up to you now. I'm rambling.
Thank you so much for watching. We really hope that you will pay a visit to MOS because the views alone are stunning. The menu is stunning. Overall, pretty expensive experience, of course. We are aware that this is a very exclusive type of event, but if you have something to celebrate, just go for it. If you want to get more of the best recommendations, like, subscribe, and you'll never miss out on the best things in Amsterdam or anywhere else in the world. See you next time.